Happiness Wellness Talk, where together we will discover how to live well.
No ice, even though it's summertime, no ice. Hi everyone, this week we are talking about the time related to the organ, and hopefully if I can cover the emotion. So let's start with this picture that I made during this quarantine time at home. And amazingly how all the nature would work with the seasonal and the time and space where you live on Earth and the time every day. So I'm just gonna show, it's a sketch, and this is the yin yang. Yin yang will turn with the yin yang will turn with the world. So, but the black side we call it yin, the white side we call it yang, and it can manifest as the sunlight during the daytime. And toward the end of the day, there's still a little bit darkness, the moon or the night is coming up. And then at night when it starts, the sun's going down, there's still a little bit sun. This is when the sunrise, this is where it's going, sun's down. So this is the yin yang. But in a big picture of 12 months and 12 meridians, 12 organ theory, and the timing, we can look in a circular shape. So 3 to 5 in the morning, in the early morning, 3 to 5, it's a lung meridian, and from 5 to 7, it's a large intestine meridian. 7 to 9 would be stomach meridian, and 9 to 11 would be the spleen meridian. So in the morning when we first wake up, first would be your lung meridian, how you start breathing in the fresh air, and then large intestine and all the digestive system. First you will go into restroom for a bowel movement in the morning, and you start your stomach, waking up your stomach to have a breakfast, 7 to 9, and then 9 to 11 also the spleen. So we'll go deep into each organ's function later in this podcast. But in spleen meridian is related to thinking, so a lot of people would be able to be more productive in the morning, and that would be from 9 to 11. And the next one from 11 to 1 o'clock, so 2 hours per day, every 2 hours organ, a meridian. So 11 to 1, we talked about in the past, would be the heart meridian. And in Chinese, it's 50, it's a noon time. And then 1 to 3 would be the small intestine, and heart and small intestine, they're related. And then 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock would be the bladder, urinary bladder. So a lot of time I ask my patient definitely to drink more water, go to the restroom in the afternoon around the meridian of urinary bladder from 3 to 5. After 5 o'clock, 5 to 7 would be the kidney. So your bladder and kidney, they are correlated. So 5 to 7 is the kidney. And this is interesting how I usually tell my patient, don't eat anything too spicy, don't eat anything too much of spice, too salty, that you are hard to digest by end of the day for the dinner time. So that would be 5 to 7. And 7 to 9 at night, that would be 心包, it's pericardium. So pericardium is an interested organ or meridian that we would talk in Chinese medicine specifically. And recently there are research start talking about how that, like right between our diaphragm and our heart, there's a organ, there's a something like, I don't want to say it wrong in the podcast, but I'll look it up the term. But there is this functionality of that layer right between the organs and the diaphragm, and they are covered around all our organs. So we call it 心包. So in Chinese, 心 is a heart, 包 is to cover or a bag. So it's a cover. So pericardium is the cover around these organs. So going down to the night, 7 to 9, and then 9 to 11 o'clock at night would be triple burner, which is 三焦. 3 is a 三焦, is a burner. So what we mean by burner is a 3-part of our body. So the 3-part of the body would be the upper part, middle part, and then bottom part, and related to more organ. So that would be where we would be talking about, like the upper part would be the heart and lung, and also your 5 senses, 7 senses, your eye, nose, mouth, and ears, and the scalp, your brain. So these would be upper, and then middle jiao, middle burner. In the middle would be more the digestive system, liver, gallbladder, stomach, and spleen. And then lower jiao, lower burner would be your reproductive system. For female would be uterus, and ovary for guys would be prostate. And also the kidney would be considered in the lower burner as well. And let's see what if I miss anything. Probably not. Okay, so by end of the day, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock midnight, here would be the gallbladder. And then gallbladder going into 子时, that would be the midnight. And we talked about in the past to get yourself have a good rest in the summertime. 子午觉, 子 is the midnight. It would be a noontime, so that would be midnight and noontime nap. And that would be the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock at night, the midnight, and 1 o'clock to from 11 to 1 at noontime. That would be 午时 for the heart. So after the 1 o'clock in the midnight, 1 to 3 o'clock, there's a country music playing around here, but I really love this place, so welcome to you. So 1 to 3 o'clock would be liver meridian, and that would be from 1 to 3, and after liver meridian would be the lung again, and then there goes the cycle of 12 meridian with the 12 o'clock. So this diaphragm has much more story about it, and when we come to the meridian on our body, it will be related to, like, for example, the heart meridian is related to heart meridians is on our upper extremity, which is the hands, and bladder meridian would be on the leg or lower extremity, and even on the back. So they're related to upper limb. They're on the upper limb or lower limb, their location, and also there's a governor vessel and conception vessel. So these are 任督. So that would be in the front, that 任 meridian, and the back would be 督 meridian. And so this will connect our body. Like front would be a big circle here, probably not very clear on the screen, but the front and the back would be a 任督 meridian, and the cycle of 12 meridian make up a clock. So in this diaphragm, there's much more information, how like the north and south and east and west, springtime, summertime, autumn time, and the winter time are related to different organs, and that would be a discussion of a later time. And I'm gonna go ahead and pause here, and then let me go into each pair of meridians. So that would be probably, I'll go over 5 pair of meridians, and that was some of our podcast for today. I'll see you later.
The information shared on this podcast does not replace any medical advice from your doctor. Our goal is to inspire and share our personal stories on health and wellness.
Welcome back from the break. So the first pair of meridian we're talking about, lung and large intestine. And as the flu season started in the springtime, and also how coronavirus outbreak causing this pandemic, interestingly how lung and large intestine is actually related to the start of the spring according to the 24C solar term. So I did have it in my picture, but I'm gonna just explain it. So from the first month of the year would be January, and the first meridian when we learn in acupuncture meridian would be the lung. And so in January related to lung, and then the start of the springtime coming into the next season, rainwater, and then also the spring equinox are related to this first pair of lung and large intestine. So it's interesting how this outbreak started around that time, but especially our respiratory system, we are talking about lung, and the springtime is the best time to really take care of our respiratory system. And when we talk about lung and large intestine, it's 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, as we mentioned earlier, and how this is related to qi. So lung is related to breathing, and especially related to qi. In Chinese, qi is the air or the energy that we breathe in. And let's see. Oftentimes, people will have a weaker immune system in the early morning, so it's very critical for people who are not in bed by 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, unless they're working in a schedule that upside down, they work at night and sleep in the morning. But if you work with the pericardium of the body and work with how the earth timing works, during 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, we should be very deep sleep, and so that can really rejuvenate our lung with all the tonifying these qi, and also to have enough energy to start up the day. And the emotion about the lung is related to grief, sadness. So if you are sad a lot, more depressed a lot, is related to, it will injure your lung meridian. And the next one would be large intestine. Large intestine is in charge of processing the waste in our body according to Western medicine. But in Chinese medicine, large intestine is also related to a lot of first stage of disease, which is Yangming. Yangming would be a pair of meridian. We talked about large intestine is related to stomach. Both of them are digestive system. That would be the first defense of our body facing the pathogen. So large intestine is also very important for immune system, accompanied with the lung. So we usually recommend our patient to have a cup of warm water or a cup of warm tea in the morning, first thing wake up, to warm up your digestive system, so that will help start up the day. Also will rejuvenate your larynx system, your digestive system, and warm up your sinuses with these warm water. So in the morning, this pair of lung and large intestine is the springtime in January and February. Next one, we're going to the next pair. Spleen and stomach. We talked about how spleen and stomach is related to our digestive system, and we are what we eat. So immune system is related to spleen and stomach, and stomach is 7 to 9, 9 to 11 is the spleen. How spleen is related to thinking, so overthinking, it will definitely harm our spleen and make us don't want to eat, and that will injure our digestive system, because when you're thinking too much, you don't feel like eating. And 7 to 9 are related to stomach, so during the stomach meridian time, you already had your breakfast, so your body is working on it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's related to large intestine for the Yangming meridian. So both of them are the first defense for immune system. So if you don't have a good breakfast, which is between 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, try to have a good breakfast so that you eat like a queen or king in the morning, and that will help boost up your immune system. Okay, let's go into a break and we'll go into the next 3 pair.
The information shared on this podcast does not replace any medical advice from your doctor. Our goal is to inspire and share our personal stories on health and wellness.
Next pair, we talk a lot about heart and small intestine in the past. In summertime, it's the heart and small intestine, and it's also like May or June. Well, not always, but according to that 24 solar turn around the summertime. So in the summertime, the summer solstice and minor heat, major heat, and also that we do a lot of dog days treatment for mux efficient is around this time. So 11 to 1, 1 to 3 o'clock. So around this time, the heart and small intestine, we mentioned that summertime you want to make sure you're not too sad, you're not hurting your heart, no broken heart, don't break up in the summertime. So your heart would be injured because you were crying too much. The tear is the fluid of the heart. So in the summertime, you don't want to sweat too much because that's also coming from the heart, all your sweat. And then small intestine also in Western medicine are related to water metabolism. So they reabsorb all the water in our waste and then they go into our bowel movement. So heart and small intestine are important in water, and in the emotion wise, we talk about the sadness. So don't be too sad. Similar to the lung, if you're depressed and you're sad or angry, anger is hurting the heart too, because anger, we talked in the past with 生气, create that energy, create that qi. It will harm the heart. So try not to harm your heart in the summer, because in the summertime we say we want to take care of our heart, 养心. So you will try to be very calm, and I know it's very hot in the summer, so protect your sweat, protect your water, and protect your heart. So you have to be calm, and like I'm finding a shade in the summertime to keep myself calm, and that is a way to take care of your body. Okay, so the next pair we're going to talk about would be, I'm going to jump to the midnight because we mentioned 子午觉 to take care of you in the summer. So 11 to 1 o'clock for the heart, and then the 11 to 1 o'clock for gallbladder. So the gallbladder in the Western medicine, we know like it produces the gallbladder. Gallbladder produces this enzyme to help digest the fat, but or process these fat molecules and also your proteins, everything. So that is the function in Western medicine. But in Chinese medicine, gallbladder related to a lot. So for example, if there's a heat in this gallbladder meridian, then it's very likely it creates dampness, create some discomfort and in your digestive system, and causing this foggy discomfort in our brain, and we just cannot think clear and make us feel like very heavy-headed, dampness or dizziness or even vertigo, or that would go into the pair of gallbladder and liver together, because liver is in charge of the blood. So when liver is in charge of blood, the 1 to 3 o'clock, gallbladder and liver, we ask our patient to definitely go to bed before 11 o'clock at night to take care of your liver and gallbladder meridian, because if they're not at ease, when they're excess, they're not calm, they're not balanced, they're excess, which means when you don't have a good rest, they're active, they don't want to sleep, and so they will be dancing around at night, right? So when they're excited, then you create this heat in this gallbladder liver meridian from the night that you did not sleep well. So the next day, chronically, is a bad cycle that you cannot sleep well, but at the same time that liver and gallbladder, without sleeping well, it creates a lot of problem with insomnia and digestive issue, and even thinking clearly, because you're not asleep, you're tired, and then go into the morning. We talk about how the spleen meridians for thinking, so you create this foggy like feeling in our brain, and will cause us that thinking very unclear. Okay, now let's see. Last pair we're going to talk about would be the kidney and bladder. Kidney and bladder together, we talked about in the past, they are related to our urinary system, which means like from kidney to the bladder in Western medicine, they take care of reabsorbing all the electrolyte. So sodium, calcium, and potassium, they are trying to get into balance in the kidney, and then in the bladder, it's all the waterways. So these urinary function from Western medicine, when it comes to Chinese medicine, we talk to our patient that definitely have enough water before end of the day, so that your urinary system can be can recharge and can like reset around that afternoon bladder kidney time. And we talk about how kidney and bladder is related to the emotion. When you get scared, the little kids get scared, they go to pee. So that's more the kidney emotion wise. And also, let me see if I'm missing anything. Okay, so kidney, we talk about how it is related to our essence. So what you were born with and what you grow from. Nature and nurture. So in kidney part, we are talking about the essence. So when we grow, when we were born, what we have from our parents, and then what we have rejuvenate from daily lifestyle of eating, sleeping, exercising, that was related to this kidney. So we try to avoid eating too salty food by end of the day, and not eating too much by end of the day. So that would sum up with our 5 pairs of meridians, and the meridian clock, and the 24 solar term. And the last pair of the summertime, okay, this I have to add in again. So from the summertime was the heart and small intestine. We need to preserve our water, preserve our fluid, preserve our sweat. So if you do sweat out, wipe it, but try to not sweat too much, over sweat, and not to tear too much, not to cry too much. But by the autumn time, start of the autumn, and also the autumn equinox is for the urinary bladder and kidney. So again, they are related to water, so you have to have enough water by end of the summer and beginning of the autumn time, so that you avoid these dryness in the autumn time, because in autumn time it's related to the metal element, and it's related to the metal element, and it's related to I just blanked out. So it's related to the metal element, and it's related to dryness. So if you don't have enough fluid going into the autumn time, you have that dryness, it's depleted, and so in the fall there's no water. So you want to make sure you preserve all the fluid in the summertime. And then going into the winter, start of the winter, like descent of frost, and start of the winter, minor snow, major, not snore, sorry about that, minor snow, major snow, and the winter solstice. I still didn't get second time right, but the minor cold and major cold, then the springtime. So by end of the month, in the in the winter time in Chinese with 冬藏. So 秋收冬藏. 秋 is the winter, 收 is to you start stocking. So in the winter time you stock all your essence, stock all your energy and nutrients, and in winter time, just like how the animals would hibernate, so in the winter time we preserve, we tang, we store. So dong is the winter, tang is to store. So in the winter time, starting from pericardium meridian, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, all the way to the midnight of 3 o'clock, it's the winter time. And we want to preserve this because there's a snowing time and there's a cold timing according to the 24 solar term. So I hope this quick episode will help you understand a little bit more about the nature, how the earth works, how the 12 meridian work. In the big picture, it would be how the earth related to different planets and how the sun and the moon are related to our yin and yang, hot and cold. And also in the small picture is our daily life within this 24-hour, how it's related to our organ and how each organ are in charge of that 2 hours for you to really take care and emphasize all the function for that meridians. And hope everyone have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.